super excited for this right now. I know we're 2 minutes behind, but I mean, anybody really on time anymore? Who knows? We're gonna give people just like, maybe 20 seconds to hopefully tune in, check us out. Um, if you're watching this later, just listen to me banter for a couple seconds because this is just what we do on Right Mind Wednesdays, and we're waiting for people to tune in and catch into the to what we're about to talk about. All right, time's up. I'm waiting for y'all. What's going on, y'all? My name is J Faith, and this is Right Mind Wednesdays, where we just sit down, have conversations, and just talk about music, mental health, fitness, and financial support. And again, just have conversations and try to, bring to light some information for people, who are aspiring to do something, have goals in life, and if there's a way that we can help you, be sure to tune in. We'll be here every Wednesday at 7:30, unless stated otherwise. But we are pushing forward. We are booked all the way through February into March, which is super dope, super excited, super happy, and grateful for everybody that will be tuning in. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, WRTMND. It's Right Mind with no vowels. I think I said that right. Right Mind with no vowels on Instagram. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. We also have a website. You can check it out through the link tree. All that stuff will be in the description once this is posted. But enough about me. Today, tonight, whatever times you are tuning in, we are here to have a wonderful conversation with a gentleman who has started a unique collective out of Montreal, Canada. And without further ado, I know I'm going to rhyme here and I apologize. Without further ado, let me introduce Drew and he'll introduce himself.
Yo, yo, yo.
What's what's going on, man? How you doing?
How you doing, bro? Thank you for having me. First of all, I appreciate the introduction. Um,
Absolutely,
I'm happy to
absolutely.
be on here, bro. I know it's been a minute we had this planned, I had this organized, so tonight's the night, man.
That's it. We're here. So tell the people that are watching right now a little bit about yourself, what y'all do. I'll leave that introduction to you.
Yes, sir. Well, my name is Drew, my artist name and my real name. And I'm part of what we call a collective, N.S.L Collective, which consists of myself as well as three producers slash beat makers, whatever you want to call them. Um, we were friends in real life before, making music. And I was never doing music before then. I met these three guys who, made music for fun, made beats for fun. And just organically, it was like, yo, why don't I try to hop on a song vocally? And just for fun, what started as a joke kind of became an obsession. And that's when we decided, yo, let's turn this into to something more than just a joke in a basement. And so NSL Collective is what we call ourselves. NSL stands for Never Stop Laughing, which is kind of like our slogan. It's our mentality. It's just like all about optimism. For us, music is something that we use to kind of disconnect, to heal, to cope, to distract from life's reality sometimes. And it's just a reminder, never stop laughing, no matter what the darkest of days you're going through. Just keep your head up and keep pushing. And that's why, the music that we make, it often inspires from places of pain or negativity, but we turn that into something that you could bump your head to and just have a good time to. Um, so yeah, that's our introduction, and no signs of slowing down since we started this 2 years ago, pretty much to the day. Um,
Oh snap!
and yeah, so it was our 2 year anniversary just a few days ago, and I can't even think back to a day before I was doing this. Like I don't even know what I was doing in my spare time before. You always say like, yo, I wish I started younger, earlier. I'm sure you feel that way about this
Oh
podcast and
yeah,
everything you got going on, but I think of that all the time. But at the same time, though, everything happens right on time, so can't overthink on that.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean time definitely starts to blur a little bit once you really start getting into the thick of things, especially in the music industry. Everything just starts to blur, and then like you said, like time flies, and then you're already like 2 years deep,
Yeah,
two
straight
years
up.
deep into it.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So you're the artist, and then you have the two producers, right? Two or three.
We
I'm sorry.
three, so four people including myself. So
Okay.
me
Okay.
me being the vocalist, and then there's three producers.
Gotcha.
My production skills are very minimal. I don't know much about much. I know zero about music theory, um, but they know much more about me in terms of production side of things, and all my job consists of is the vocalist, and that's just kind of the roles we have played out right now. So we are
That's fire.
four, yeah, based out of Montreal, Canada. Trying to represent Canada's underrated in music, except for Toronto. Toronto's doing its thing now, but
Right. I was gonna say, don't y'all got Drake or something? Somebody by
yeah.
that name, but
Hey, we got
what?
Bieber too. We got a lot of big music
Oh,
names.
that's right. I
Even
forget
The
Beeps.
Weeknd, Tory Lanez. Yo,
Oh,
look.
dang. I forget. I forget where these people are from sometimes.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we're ready for a new generation. We're ready for some new cats that come out of Canada. So I think
Hell
I
yeah.
think y'all will we'll definitely make a stamp on that.
Yes,
It's
sir.
it's dope to have a collective, especially people that are a little bit more experienced in things that you don't know. Like I'm kind of similar in the wavelength of not really knowing music theory too much. I dabble here and there, but I there's definitely being part of a collective myself. It definitely helps to have producers and engineers that know what the heck they're talking about, and it just makes things easier for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it gives you like that kind of like a team dynamic, like it's almost like a team sport now rather than just you doing you. Um, it just in terms of like being productive, but also to having, another ear to listen to, some advice or some internal conversation that, if you're just doing something on your own, you might second guess yourself, you might this, that, but to have like a team where there won't be that judgment or anything, and it's more just like an open conversation. I think it's a huge, huge, huge part of being like a winner. And it's just cool because it gives you again that like that team spirit that you might not have if you're just alone. So
For sure, for
I,
sure. Um, Go ahead. Was I cutting
don't
you off?
worry, don't even worry about it. It's all good. Keep do your thing, man.
No, I was gonna say. So y'all were kind of friends before all the music and stuff started, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So
So that's go ahead.
I was just gonna say we met through hockey. It's a Canadian classic stereotype right there. I find it pretty funny.
Right.
Um, yeah, we all played hockey together, and that's kind of how we knew each other at first, and then just on some we became friends. Obviously, when you're on the same team as somebody, you get closer to them, and yeah, they were always talking about like the instrumentals they make, beats they make, and all that, and then yeah, that's kind of how it happened. But yeah, Canadian stereotype. We met on the ice, man.
We met on the ice. Word. No, the reason I ask it because a topic that comes up a lot is especially when when you're trying to be creative, making music, and the difference between being part of some type of collective and then doing it by yourself, or even people that you're not too familiar with, is like the yes man kind of
Mm,
mentality of oh yeah, it sounds dope, it sounds dope, it sounds dope, but being friends, maybe one would have to assume that you have some different level of, I guess you could say, respect, where it's like you play a song, and then the feedback is really, it's critical, but it's all meant to only to enhance what
exactly.
it is that you're trying to do.
Exactly. I think also the fact that those people, they know me like in real life, and they know maybe where those stories inspire from or what I'm trying to say and stuff. It makes it easier to get the right message across too. And the fact that we're friends in real life also helps them just being completely like brutally honest too. Like
Yeah.
they won't be filtered. I won't be filtered too. It goes hand in hand. Like when it comes to instrumentals and stuff, I don't know anything about production, but I do give my to a certain extent I do. I say I don't and I do, but
Yeah.
it's a team thing. So it's just it's good. You could take an idea that's like this good and then turn it into an idea that's that good, just with a bit of conversation, a bit of feedback, a bit of back and forth. So absolutely, it's definitely not a yes man type of situation when you're friends before going into it. You know.
Yeah, I definitely think there has to be a lot of understanding too. Like you said, the music that you create, they're able to kind of rationalize with what you're trying to say versus somebody who's just hearing it. They're like, "What do you like? What? Like,
Exactly.
what does that
Exactly.
even mean?" But like, even on like aside from music, if like you just have like again, like you guys are friends. Like I'm sure you guys talk more, not more, but like not just music stuff. Like you talk about, I'm sure you probably talk about life,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. So it's like if somebody's going through something, like you have, I'm sure there's some type of like radar that goes off and is like, okay, like there's that understanding of if somebody's just not feeling it in the booth or in the studio, that it's like, nah, we know what's going on. Like it's not, it's not, maybe
Exactly.
not the right time.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I guess we're able to read those, those signs that might not be vocal just because of being friends before, right? And but you know what? Ironically, though, in regards to that, I feel like our best music and when we're the most inspired to make music is when we're down bad. So what you're referring to, like maybe being down, whether it's real life situations, that's kind of when we do the most. When we want to cook up the most and when we want to make the most music, because that's our form of coping and dealing and distraction, right? So it's almost like a blessing in disguise when things aren't like perfect in our real lives because we get to put that energy towards something that we inspire from and build something from. So yes and no, like when I'm feeling down or whatever, I'll text one of them, like Dusty or Bean or Durs. I'll be like, yo, I'm feeling down, like I need an emotional beat, and then boom, they're gonna hit the studio and they're gonna cook up and send me some emotional type of thing, and then that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, because I mean, you have that support system, so it's like, I'm down. Okay, like let's motivate each other to break kind of out of that cycle
Yeah,
by putting
exactly.
it into music. Because I definitely agree. I It's weird, and it probably makes me sound like some super dark, like deep, miserable, like gray cloud emo type of person. But like I love writing like the most deep, emotional, like hard life things that are happening right now. Songs like those come to me so much more easier than like, hey, let's hype it up and stuff like that. Like for me,
Absolutely,
like
absolutely. Like it comes. I think it comes down to because the emotions are just stronger when it's something that stems from like pain. Um,
yeah,
it almost like writes itself. If you're trying to story tell or if it's something that's like really bothering you, it's way harder. It's kind of like it's always easier to talk about your flaws than your strengths. I feel like it's almost a bit like that. Like when it's when you're doing bad or something bad happens and you're in your feelings, like it's easy to write. But again, like you said, like when it's time to hype it up, you're kind of like, okay, well, what do I say? Because it feels less meaningful, it feels less
yeah,
authentic. I think that's why. But I think those are the best artists, the ones that really, really like double down on the real life and the emotion and the vulnerabilities of, you know, that's what translates the most with the audience. Like, yeah, maybe those like hype songs will do well for a couple of weeks in the club or whatever, but the ones that have the most distinct artists in any genre of music, they have a bit of both. Like they will have the turn up music and the feel good music, but they have a lot of pain in their music and vulnerability and honesty, and I think that's what makes them more relatable.
yeah. I think, yeah, that's definitely the word for it. Definitely relatable. I think all of the artists that I have consecutively like followed, looked for new albums, trying to figure out what they're gonna do is those artists that really put in like who they are as a person versus just like all the club hits. And again, not
Exactly.
that club hits are necessary. The party hits, all the club hits, all that stuff. It's necessary because you just need a break, and sometimes you just need to live up a little bit. But like you said, like for me, any artist that I've been attracted to, like hardcore, like fan wise, like it's those hard hitting albums. It's those albums that just
Exactly.
talk about like deepest pain, things that you've been through, the things that you've overcome, the storytelling, passion. Like those are the albums that I'll listen to front to back, back to front, consistently. Versus, again, like you said, like club song that I'll listen to maybe like once a week.
Exactly. And I think that's because you build an attachment to the person behind the song. You feel like you know part of their lives. You kind of feel like they're your friend almost, Or if you're going through something similar, you put the song on, it almost feels like therapy as a consumer. So,
That's
but like you said, the club songs, they are necessary. That's why I say like it's a balance. You need the feel good music, but you also need like the real struggle music too. And those, all the guys at the top right now, that's exactly, they found the perfect combination of those two things.
definitely. I mean, you gotta. The hard part is you're trying to appeal to a lot of people, so you
Yeah.
have to kind of like you said, like have that balance of the kitschy stuff, and then the stuff that just puts you right in the feels right when you need it. Those are the songs, man. Like I have songs that came out in early 2000s, even in the 90s, that when I listen to them, like I'm right back in that moment
Yeah.
when I'm listening to, and that's like the dopest feeling I
You
could
you
ever go
literally,
through.
it literally brings back memories that you forgot sometimes. And it's like vivid ones too. Like you could be like, you remember exactly what bus stop you were at and what this and
Right.
what time it was and what class you were about to go to. Like music is so powerful when it comes to memory. There's a huge, huge, huge connection there. Uh, and I think we're biased as humans as to like what our favorite album is and favorite song of all times. I think it really depends on the timing of when that song came out and what was going on in your life when you listened to it.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
you relate to a song the first time around because it's something that's like almost directly correlated to what you're going through at home, let's say. I mean, yeah, it might go down as your favorite song of all times. Is it the best song of all times of that artist? Not necessarily.
Facts, facts. I know. I was just thinking, like, because like you have those songs that like put you back in. I was thinking, like, you have those songs that put you back in that moment, like driving down the road. Like, I know for me, speaking for myself, and I'm just driving, and I'm like, oh, why do I feel this way? Like, oh, like what is wrong with me? But then like, you're like, no, like, listen to like the song that you're listening to, dude. Just like literally just threw you right back to that moment
Yeah.
where the girl broke up with you, or you were going through the hardest part of your life, and you're just like, oh, why? But
It's
that
powerful. So powerful. But that's what's
I
beautiful
love
about
that.
it. Even though it brings pain, even if it brings pain, it's beautiful.
It's yeah, and I mean, you could also, I mean, again, I always try to speak for myself, but it's one of those things. It's almost like too. You hear it, it brings you back to that moment, but then you're able to almost like instantaneously reflect on what you've overcome by getting, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because you're like, oh, for example, like, oh, that girl broke up with me, but like, oh, not married, for 7 years, and I'm so much
True.
happier
Yeah.
having gone through that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like
True.
one of those.
True.
It's like that moment, maybe was a sucky time, but it built me into the person that I am today, and
Yeah,
I'm much better off for it.
puts things in perspective. Definitely. And it makes you realize that everything is temporary too. Back when
Facts.
you first listen to that song, when you first listen to that song when you're 17 years old, say, and you feel like it's the end of the world, bro. Like you feel like you're just
Facts.
done. But
Yeah.
then 10 years later, you're driving in your car, like you say, and the song comes on, and you almost laugh about it. Like, remember when I was 17, I thought my life was done. Like, and look at me now, right? And that's what's cool because it puts things in perspective. You know, it creates a bit of a bittersweet feeling, that's for sure. Um, Again, it's also like, if there's like a song that like one of your relatives loved and then that relative passes away, it's always kind of a bittersweet feeling to re-listen to those songs. Same kind of thing.
Yeah, I have an entire playlist dedicated to like songs that partly I assume, but also know that my dad would have enjoyed as he was growing up.
Mm,
And like I'll
yeah.
just like sit there and just rock with him as if like him and I were just sitting in the same room together, just jamming out.
Wow. Yeah. That's actually beautiful.
It's like that's what's like so dope about music is just how
Hmm.
how much of a connection it can create.
Connection, and not only from the creator and consumer, but also between it really creates a community that's so like with no boundaries. If we look at us as creators or whatever you want to call it, music is really the international language. There's some people that literally won't understand a word of a song that I put out, and they're still rocking to the melodies and bopping their heads and playing it, and it changes their mood. um, there's people from across the world that literally we don't know a thing about each other on a personal level. But the only thing in common is that we both love music, creating music, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter your background, your religion. It doesn't matter nothing. Even though literally it doesn't even matter what language you speak. Like we can get beyond that because of music. It's its own language. All you need to do is send me the BPM and the key, and we can both do our own thing. And that's what's so cool about this music thing. And it's such an it's such an open space and a welcoming space too. Like there's been no interactions that I've had that have been, people trying to exclude or anything. Like it's such a beautiful community to be part of music. And yeah, like it's something that I feel blessed to be part of, because of the amazing connections I've made, over the years. Like this conversation never would have happened if I didn't decide to make music, or if you weren't so passionate about, your message and music too. I think it's beautiful that it takes and brings people together that never ever would have been in different circumstances in contact. That's what's cool to me.
Yeah, you can literally meet with like people literally all over the world. Like when I like a few years ago, it was like the weirdest. I can't even like remember where it started, but I met like a producer in New York who then lived in Germany, who connected with a German artist at the time, who then connected me to his cousins that lived in Buffalo, New York, who were producers, which I've made music with them. But then we all did a cipher with
So
with dudes from Germany, and it was like the international thing, like you said. Like even though
yeah,
we like spoke different languages, like you could just feel it, and you got me thinking like. Cause like I've listened to like Spanish music, I've listened to other like German music and stuff like that. Obviously from working with them, and even though I don't understand it, like at some point I feel like subconsciously, like it hits you somehow. Like you just
yeah,
know.
it's the
And
vibes.
it's just a weird thing. I say it to myself all the time, like especially like more so when I listen to like Spanish music. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel because my wife, I know like zero Spanish. Like I the couple words that everybody always knows, but like to have
Yeah,
a full on conversation, like there's absolutely no way to pick apart a song. There's absolutely no way. But when I hear the music and I just listen to it, like subconsciously, I just feel like I'm like, yeah, like I know exactly what you're saying, even though I have no idea what you're saying.
absolutely. That's what happened. I speak French in Montreal. It's a bilingual province. So my mother is francophone and my pops is English, so I'm pretty much perfectly bilingual, and I find that a blessing. Anyways, there's a few songs that I put out that are French, and when I put them out, most of like my listeners are used to me putting out English music, and there'd be some people that reached out to me, whether it was from Switzerland or wherever, like overseas, India, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I have no idea what you're saying in this song, but it's my favorite song you ever made." I'm like, wow. I was like, that says a lot. Either that lyrics don't matter at all, or that
Right.
it's really all about like the energy, the vibe, just it puts you in like that groove. At the end of the day, it's an energy you give off in music. It's not even necessarily about what you're saying.
Yeah, I think yeah, cause just how you deliver it is
Yeah.
is as much of an impact. I mean, I know, preaching to the choir here, but if you're just monotone, you're not giving off, especially on like a hype beat, for example. If you're just monotone, like you're not giving off energy to fully complete a beat. But if like you're just
Yeah.
like all in it, like jumping in the booth, like the person can feel like the roof of the booth is about to fall off. Like then like you've made that connection, like you're conveying that energy out. And to agree with what you said, it's like it doesn't matter what you're, I mean, it matters what you're saying, but the language and the ability to connect, it's also just about how you present it.
It's
And
just as powerful. It's just as powerful as the words that are being said. I completely agree with you. Completely.
I mean, like instrumentals, like even just
Hmm.
instrumentals themselves, like the
Boom.
combination, like I can listen to instrumentals and just be like, like I'm just gonna like just dwell here
Yeah, it puts you in a
for
mood.
it's
Yeah.
it's crazy. It
Yeah.
blows my mind sometimes.
It's the power of music, man. The power of music. It's hard to understand,
For
but
sure,
it's
for
magic in some
sure,
type of way.
for sure. I know I'm French Canadian too. I took a little bit of French in middle school, and then
Did you
after
now?
middle school,
Do you remember
yeah,
any of it?
no, there was like to middle school for me was all right. Now I'm dating
You're
myself.
about to age yourself, my man.
Very much so. So I graduated eighth grade in 2002. So
Damn.
I think when they were teaching French, I was in maybe fifth grade. I think it was like the maybe the max, and
Okay.
after that they like stopped teaching it. But
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Massachusetts, born and raised, but I went to a Catholic school. It was a French Canadian Catholic school.
Ah, okay.
So some uh, they chose to teach French,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for obvious reasons. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I wish, like, obviously hindsight is 2020. I wish that I had stuck with it. Stuck with another language. Even
Yeah.
high school, I was mad because my junior year they were teaching Spanish, and it was a 2-year course. So I took it my first year, and then I was supposed to take it my senior year. So my senior year comes, the guy who was teaching it retired or left or whatever, and they didn't have somebody to do it as a class. It was just an after school thing, and I did sports, so I could. So I'm like, well, there goes that, and like Spanish would have been huge for me, especially now married to somebody who is very fluent in Spanish, and I don't
Mm.
understand a word.
Hey, it's never too late to learn again, man. It's never too
Oh,
late.
sure, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I think at this point I really need to as well because I go to a bilingual church, which is Spanish and
Mm.
English. So I like pick up things here and there, but I feel like I'm so invested in it now that I really should just pick it up and just learn it, and but it'll take time, but I think it's definitely one of those things we gotta check
Listen
off
to
for
more
sure.
Latin music, man. Listen to more
Yeah.
Latin music. It
Dude, I listen to more Latin music than my wife, who is Latin, does.
helps. Hey, well, you'll get better eventually, then.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out someday. Like I can sing to some of the words. I don't know maybe necessarily what they are, but I can. I have the what's the when you can actually like enunciate it or pronounce it correctly, but
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what
You
I
just
don't know
don't
what it
know what
means
you're
yet.
saying.
Yeah. So I
Gotta
could
be
be swearing at
careful.
somebody, and
Yeah, you gotta be
yeah,
careful what you're saying.
yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. So we've been talking a lot about like just a lot of mental health and stuff, a lot of mental health stuff as far as like music goes. So like you guys have started this, or your brand focus is never stop laughing. Like how did that come about? I know you briefly touched on like obviously just like staying positive,
Yeah.
and trying to be optimistic with situations. How did that become, if you can dive in a little bit further, like just like the stamp of what y'all are as a collective?
So the term laughing, this is where it comes from. Before I started making music, um, I wanted to make like an expression like mainstream. Like I was down to like, have a word or an expression that would go mainstream. So I was like, started to use the term laughing. So I'd be like, if someone would be like, "Yo, how's your day doing?" or how'd your exam go?" or what's going on, whatever. I'd be like, "Yo, I'm laughing. Like I'm chilling." It's basically saying like I'm chilling, I'm good, like I'll get over it, whatever. Like if something bad happens, I'll be like, "It's okay, just rub it off. I'm laughing." That's how it started.
Word.
So I started that just as a challenge to kind of see like, yo, how much influence can I have on like the people around me? So I started using it all the time. Like,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
like if you'd ask people around me, like that was facts. I'd be saying it all the time. Like I'm laughing. And I swear to God, bro, it started catching. Like people were sticking. I ended up going to university in Ontario one weekend just to go visit a friend. Okay, and sure enough, because my boy started saying it too, and then he went off to Queens in Ontario. Sure enough, I pull up to this party, and these people are using the expression "I'm laughing," and I couldn't believe it. And so then I realized that things like it's more like things are more attainable than we might think they are. So when this whole music thing came, I was in my prime days of always saying that expression.
Word.
So that with the idea of staying optimistic, always looking forward, always moving forward. That's why I was like, yo, guys, we got to just include the name. The word laughing needs to be in our collective name. And at this point, my
Yeah.
boys from music too, they'd started using laughing. Like the whole team would use it and stuff. So we had a few ideas, man. We were considering a few different ideas for the collective name. And what we found cool about Never Stop Laughing is that the initials of it are cool too. Like NSL Collective, it sounds nice, sounds smooth off the
Rolls
tongue.
off the tongue.
It
Rolls
does.
off the tongue very nice.
So not only did we like the name in full, but we liked the acronym of it too. Um, Someone in the chat saying Jack Harlow. Everyone calls me Jack Harlow. That's my boy though. He's a producer from Montreal as well. Actually, I have a track coming out with him soon. Actually, calling me Jack because people always call me Jack Harlow.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I lost my train of thought there, but okay, laughing. Yeah, so that's where it comes
Yeah.
from. Literally, it was an expression I was trying to make go mainstream, um, and so that's kind of why we went with NSL, and NSL just sounds nice too. So I'm glad we went with that title. I think we did the right choice.
That's funny. That literally funny. But it's
No pun intended.
right. No pun intended whatsoever. No, it's like it's crazy how like simple things can really affect people, and it like I'm trying to get it as like people think like, oh, I need this like big huge like marketing scheme and like this big branding and all these crazy things. It's like, dude, just be yourself and
Yeah,
who you are and just brand that. And like I guarantee you, like
facts.
everything will be everything will fall where it needs to be. People just
Well, we're
overthink it
lucky
and
that we have
overcomplicate it.
that. Absolutely. And now more than ever, it's way more attainable to build that way. Like with things like TikTok and stuff, literally the biggest creators are the ones that are just the most authentic. They're just raw, they're just themselves. No matter if you're monotone or you're high energy or this or that, there's a market for literally everything and everyone and any type of content and any type of personality. People can tell like if you're being genuine or if you're putting on a persona and this and that. And I feel like the whole persona thing, people aren't interested anymore. I think the people doing the best in every industry of entertainment is really those just being themselves in front of the camera or whatever, and people really do again relate to that. Um, but now more than ever, bro, because we're lucky to have a thing like literally pick up your phone, your little tiny piece of whatever, and just put up a video online, and you could build a community that way. Like think of how crazy that is, and that's at no cost. That's free,
Yeah,
and
I
people are
know.
not taking advantage of it. It's crazy.
Mhm. it's again, like, I think people just overthink it
Yeah.
so hard, because I've seen, I have a TikTok, and I see viral videos that are just like, it's not 4 HD and 7K and all that other stuff as far as quality wise.
Right.
It's just a simple video. Like, dude, just put it up, you know,
Yep.
especially with this day and age. I mean, phones are getting just as good as regular cameras at this point.
Yep.
It's like, dude, you could shoot an entire music video straight from your phone in pretty
Yeah, you
decent
can.
quality, and then just upload it, and it's right. You could literally do everything. You could put the video together on your phone. Download
Yep.
iMovie or something, as simplistic as that, and you're golden.
Well, I
It's
don't know
crazy.
if
It's crazy.
you're familiar with Lyrical Lemonade, Cole Bennett, and his movement. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but you should go check it out later because literally he's a videographer. He started in Chicago, started just doing these little events for shows for artists in Chicago to come show their talent. And anyways, he took it to the next level, and he makes videos for the biggest rappers, especially right now. And he literally wanted to prove that exact point you just brought up. And so he just did a video with Lil Yachty and a different one with Ski Mask, where he shot the entire thing on his iPhone. And the video is both videos are insane. They're
Yeah.
clean. They look like they were professionally produced. Like, and that's literally why, because he put up a video. He's like, I'm going to film right now, and by tomorrow night you'll see the video completely shot on iPhone, just so that people would shut up and be like, no, they come up with excuses that they don't have a budget for equipment or they don't have a this and that.
Yep.
And it's like, pretty much we're all lucky enough to have one of these, you know, and that's
That's
really
right.
all you need. That and a Wi-Fi connection, and that's all you need.
That's it, man. Just shoot it, man. Like, shoot the video, build yourself up, use as a buffer until, if and when you want to get,
Exactly, exactly.
the more expensive stuff. And but like, there at this day and age, like, there's really no excuse. Like, I don't know how artists did it before. I mean, I kind of know how a lot of
I
artists
know
did
what
it
you
before in,
mean.
like, the
It's,
90s and stuff like that. Like, you had to go door to door, like, you had to go
mm,
to shows, like, you had to drop mixtapes off, you had to go to the record label
yeah,
to submit your stuff. Like, nowadays, it's like, dude, like, I'll send you my EP, my, what's it, I can't even say it right, EPK, my EPK, right from my phone, and
yeah,
send it to you, and I never have to step foot in an office, per se.
exactly. It's crazy. I mean, I still think it takes as much time and energy just at a complete different spot. It's way easier now because I could literally become famous staying in my bedroom for 10 years straight, not leaving my bedroom,
Hmm. Yeah.
and build an audience, build a hardcore following. Literally just in my bedroom. If you said that to any kind of creator like 50 years ago, they would have been like, "Bro, you're crazy.
There's no way.
There's no way." But I feel like, unfortunately, my generation, especially, we're so entitled, and we just, we're because we're blessed when it comes to stuff like that and these opportunities, and we don't realize they didn't exist before. So back onto the video thing that you were talking about, or just the content thing. People always try to like start coming in the game like at this level, but it's like, do you not realize that the biggest creators right now all started down here too?
Yeah.
Like when you saw, like, whoever your favorite artist is, first music video, whatever, it wasn't their first music video. This was like,
Right.
years of work, years of time, years of energy, all that to get to that point, and you finally come across them. But yo, go see your favorite YouTuber, go see your favorite artist, their first piece of content, whether it was their first song, first YouTube video. You're gonna be like, what? Like, it was
Be like,
terrible quality, it was terribly edited,
trash.
terrible
Yeah.
sound quality, terrible pixelation, but they were consistent. They believed in themselves, and they just kept, one step at a time. They didn't start up here, and they knew that they weren't going to. They were
Yeah.
fine with starting here, but just slowly going up. And I think a big problem right now, because we're so lucky with these devices and just opportunities, that a lot of people are just trying to enter game, whether it's music or whatever else. They try to enter here, and that's
Yeah.
kind of a curse. And that's why they get intimidated. That's why they give up so quickly.
Because it's also like the instant gratification. Because like with phones,
Exactly.
like everything is so instant, and like I joke all the time sometimes. Because like I do put up TikToks and stuff. I'm not like heavy into it, but like I put up TikToks, and I'll always joke with myself. Like I'll open up my phone and be like, and go to TikTok, and I'll be like, all right, am I TikTok famous yet? After posting something, and I'm like, all right, am I TikTok famous yet? And I'll get like maybe one like you know so it's like people just think like, oh, like I'm doing everything else everybody else is doing, like why aren't I famous yet? Well, partly that's probably why you're not famous yet, because you're doing exactly everything that everybody else is doing, and two,
Facts.
like you're not succumbing to maybe who you are as a person. Like I've seen people on, again, I'm using TikTok as an example, they'll literally have the same background in every single video. Like
Mm,
nothing changes. They'll change like their outfits and stuff like that, but like the way the content is delivered, oh, now it's bugging me. There's like one kid, I forget what it was. Now you're making me want to go and look. But they literally, it's the same song, it's the same background, but they just changed like the topic, excuse me, of like what they're talking about. But
right.
like everything is always like everything else is consistent, but they just changed the topic and they made it their own. As far
Right.
as like the concept is still the same. Just the topic is different every single time. But same background, same song, but they just continuously just rotate it. Like one day it's about like doing the dishes, and the next day it's
Uh,
taking out the trash, but it's again, I can't remember exactly the thing, but it's like everything is the same, but they found a way to make it their own,
yes, sir.
even still piggybacking off of a trending song.
Yeah. And yeah, it's funny, man. Like it's funny that we're in that world right now. That I mean, but it takes creativity to do that. It's not stupid. It's pretty smart, actually. It's kind of like working smart and not working hard type of thing. Why not? Why not do that? If the opportunity, if you're able to do that and succeed that way, man, can't hate on it.
No, not at all. And like I said, like people are like, oh, I'm doing everything that everybody else is doing, but that's your problem. Like
Yeah.
we've are, unfortunately, we live in such a day and age of not only instant gratification, but like our attention span is so short that it's like if we don't have anything new like right away, it's we're already tuned out of it.
Yeah. That's how it is. I think that's how the generation is kind of. Um, Unfortunately, I don't think it's their fault, but oh, that was a lot of white noise that just cut down. Could you go ahead and speak?
Yeah, I pulled it down a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm just seeing that comment. Zach's, what's up, Zach? Zach's an artist from my city in Montreal. We got a few
Right.
songs together. Very talented. Yeah, you should get him on this thing. Actually, I'll try to connect you, Zach.
Yeah, let's do
Get
it.
an episode in. Um, but I lost. Oh yeah, the instant gratification thing. Well, yeah, I think it's so much deeper than what we're saying, though. It even goes to insecurities and people just having self doubt. Like me, when I started doing this, I knew that it would be a long term thing. There'd be people that would like, right after I started making music, like, yo, are you making money off of it yet? Yo, are you famous yet? Yo, are you like this, that? And I'm like, bro, like what world do you live in? Like I wasn't expecting, to be honest, it's not like I'm big right now or anything at all, but still, like, I'm so grateful for the progression that's been made. I wasn't expecting anything. That's the problem with the generation that I'm in. And I think a lot of people expect too much too soon. Like, why do you deserve anything?
Yeah.
You put out one song, it took you a few days to make, whatever, like, and you expect something? Why are you expecting something? I feel like you're doing it for the wrong reasons if you put out something to expect something in return. Like, if you were really doing it for the love of music and the therapeutic side of music and just whatever, I don't think you'd be tripping about the amount of money that your first song brought you, and all those things. I don't know, man. I think it's way, way, way deeper than what we're saying, but it stems from those
Yeah.
exact concepts. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they lose their like self-confidence real quick. They need to I think people need to be more realistic that you can't just build an audience overnight, regardless what industry you're in. I just think it's a long-term game, and if you have that long-term vision and that take a step back and see the bigger picture, I literally think that everything is possible. But you need to remind yourself and take that step back every single day. Every day you need to you because people focus so much on like the micro when they're in it, but it's like there is a macro that needs to be, once in a while that you need to be like, okay, macro level, micro, macro, mic. Like if you're so deep into something, and you kind of get like tunnel vision,
Yeah.
and that's kind of a curse.
For sure. I feel like I've had that recently myself with because I've had so I've been into like my first three shows of the year, and they're all different content that I'm trying to perform, and I've reached a point where it was like constantly rehearsing, constantly trying to remember lyrics, constantly trying to like get sets down, and also like working on like other music, and like I just felt like so worn down and not really seeing like the bigger picture of what I was trying to do.
Mm,
And it just
there you go.
like I had to literally take a step back. I even told people in my collective like, yo guys, like I'm sorry, like I haven't really been around, lately, even like posting stuff. Like I'm like I have zero interest in doing any of this stuff because like I just need to take a step back and like just figure out where I'm going because I'm on like autopilot right now, in the fast lane, and I have no control over what's going on right now.
Yeah, I think it's okay to be on autopilot and the fast lane if you clearly set like if you have like a very clear vision
For
of
sure.
of just keeping your head down and focusing. But at the same time, it comes down to balance, man. Everything is balance. It's so easy to get caught up in that moment, and like you're kind of describing, it almost sounds like a burnout type of thing, um, where you just kind of overdid it, but or you just get lost in your own on your own path, really, because you're like you started here, you ended up over here, but meanwhile, like you weren't consciously moving with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, exactly. But it's like it's one of those things like people just have to really they have to understand, like you said, like the journey is not like a day's journey. It's something that
Exactly.
takes it really takes time. Like look at any of your favorite legendary artists. Like they weren't making millions. Like tell you this, a very similar story of the bum grind
Yeah.
for the first 5 7 years of them making music till they finally maybe linked up with the right person or put together that one track, after making hundreds of tracks, and finally made that one track after doing all that really set them above
Exactly.
where they needed to be. So it's like you have to take those all those setbacks and stuff as like those building blocks of you like learning more and more and
Yeah.
more and more to finally making the song or getting up on stage at that one show and that one person was
Exactly.
there that was like, yo, this dude rocked it, we need to get him on this tour over here real quick. Or you do that interview and you just have that, you've built your interview skills when it your what's the word I'm looking for. Well,
Exactly.
we'll stick with media. Your media presence. And be like, okay, this dude's like a really personable person. Like we can have a sit down, have a conversation with him, and
Exactly.
he's somebody we definitely want to work with. But if you're just a clown and thinking that like you said, like you just deserve overnight success and it's a false reality that so many people nowadays like get absorbed in. And again, to reiterate what you said, a lot of people get let down because of it. They push
Yeah.
themselves down, and you know we get the people that we have today, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, but also, what's kind of crazy is that it is possible to blow up overnight, and some oddballs do. It's not probable, but it's possible. But I honestly think that's the biggest curse that could happen to you. Yeah, in the short run, it looks awesome. It sounds awesome. You probably feel awesome. But again, to everything you just said, you build so much character by starting the foundation and building it level by level rather than just going like this. Because if you get overnight success, no matter what it is, like, you don't learn any of the fundamentals, any of it. I mean, if I take myself for example, like, I know very well that the first song I put out, 2 years ago, sound quality was poor, mixing was poor, the mastering was poor, all that was poor. I know that. Even back then, I knew that it didn't sound as good quality as like Sway Lee's new song did. But I knew that, again, the bigger picture of things, I knew that that was just ground zero. And then my next song would be a little better, and my next song would be better, next song would be better, boom, 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 boom. And now it's kind of cool to see and look back 2 years ago what my sound sounded like and what it does now. It shows progression, and that applies to everything you just said. It says like interviews too. First interview, again, people expect that their first interview is going to be, the biggest interview on like whatever, like the Breakfast Club, with like DJ Envy. And it's like,
Right.
it's not how it is. It's not how it is. And I think some people need to be a bit more realistic about themselves. But I think the ones that do make it are the ones that do persist and push through and that are patient. And consistency and patience and self confidence. If you have those three things, man, you're good. Just time.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah, I would say consistency too. 'Cause, like
Yep.
you can have that overnight success, but if like how are you going to maintain that unless all you wanted was just
Yeah, yeah,
that one
that one
overnight,
weekend.
like like
Yeah,
the one hit wonder type of people. Like they're like, all
exactly.
right, I made that one wonder, I can make money off of that for the rest of my life. All right,
Yeah,
cool. But like if you're someone who is really interested in making a career out of music and you are going for that overnight success, like please just make sure that you have something to follow it, because if not, especially nowadays, you're going to
yeah,
be quickly forgotten.
yeah. It's funny. I was saying something to someone close to me recently, and this might sound really stupid, but I was like, in these first 2 years that I was making music until now, I was literally afraid that one of my videos would blow up. When I say blow up, I mean like actually like one of my reels going to like millions and millions and millions of views. I was actually kind of afraid that would happen because I felt like I wasn't ready to go to that level yet. I only feel like now I'm getting to a level where I'd be comfortable to upscale a little bit. Only now, after 2 years of doing this every single day for hours and hours in every aspect of it, do I now feel comfortable to take a step forward.
After that.
Again, that's crazy because a lot of people that they want it like this. Like you just said, though, to your point, those that do get it like this, even though it's unlikely it's possible, and those that do get it like this, you see them right away. As quick as they go down, as quickly as they fall. Because there's no foundation. There's nothing to hold you back. Like, yeah, you're hot for a weekend, whatever, but you didn't learn anything. You don't know how it works. You don't know this. You don't know that. Next thing you know, you'll crash.
Yeah.
So that's why for these first 2 years, I was literally scared of one of my videos. Obviously, I wanted to grow, but grow kind of slowly, progressively, build that foundation. I think foundation is so, 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 so important. That's
Because
just my
there's
opinion.
Yeah, no, because I mean, there's so many aspects, especially to music. I mean, not in only just the creative side, which we've already kind of talked about between knowing production, music theory, and then obviously just writing music,
Yeah,
but then also like the business side, and then you have the business side, then you have the marketing side, then you have the social media side, then you have the promotion
dude.
side, then you have the branding side. Like, there's so many different pieces, and then I've had kind of similar conversations with people is like you have those people that have that kind of overnight success, and then they're sitting in the
Yeah.
board meeting, and then they get the contract, they don't read it because they don't understand language, and then they get the record deal, then they get the $1 million, and they spend the $1 million on cars
They're
and stuff,
done.
and
Yeah.
then the album comes out, it does trash, and then the label looking at them going, okay, where's our money? And they're going, oh, I spent it because I didn't realize I owed that to you. Now I have to sell everything or try to make everything back. Where do I go from here? I don't know, because I haven't really built a foundation in making music
There you
and
go.
to know where I need to take a step forward. And I haven't really built a brand. I just got off of this one hit wonder, and now I'm sitting in debt, and no, I'm gone.
Absolutely.
Like
It's sad,
as
but that's literally how it is, though.
as
That's how.
quickly as I said that, like that's how quickly it happens.
Straight up. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that's something I realized quickly when I started making music. And you hear the cliche often, but it's so true that like 80% of music is actually the marketing and the business side of things. And even my time, that's how it's split. I write my own songs, I record my own songs, I mix my own songs, I do the cover arts for my songs, everything musically besides the actual beat making, which is my producers. Everything else I do. I distribute all that. But all that literally combined only takes about 20% of my time attributed to music. That's crazy. But what
Yeah,
I realized quickly is no one's going to go out their way to listen to my track if they don't if they don't feel some kind of connection with me or attachment with me. There's so many options. You could like, why wouldn't you go listen to Tory Lanez or Sway Lee or Chris Brown? Why wouldn't you? The only way that they would show interest in my new single is if I build some kind of connection with them. And that's why since then I've been so focused on branding, putting my face on my Instagram page. It's only my face on my Instagram page, me telling my story, doing short music videos, doing some kind of like comedy skits things, like because people want to follow a person, a human, someone that they could interact with, someone that they could relate to. And so many times when I see people trying to come up in social media, I'm like, yo, show your face. Like producers, especially the producer world, they'll put up their instrumentals, which are fire. Their beats are fire, but all they're going to put is like the cover art and the audio. And it's like, man, you have no idea how much potential you'd have if all you did was turn your phone on and be like, yo, today we're going to make a little TJ type beat, and then kind of go through it and just explain the piano keys that you do and this and that. It's super simple. But just to have a face, to have an incentive, because there's so much to choose from right now. You need something to to make yourself unique, a unique,
yeah,
offering. And the only thing that's unique to you as a human is literally you as a human. You're you. There's no other you. There's no other me. That's the only thing you could offer to this world that is mutually exclusive to you. Once you understand that, for your podcast, for your YouTube channel, for music, for anything, if you understand that and you just be authentic, man, you're gonna figure it out. Just time. Now it's just time and commitment. That's it.
that's all it is, man. Like even if like, because like I have a producer friend of mine we just had on the show, and he is one of those people that likes to kind of stay behind the scenes. But what he did was
Mm.
to kind of get to your point is like he put his personality into his page, and it wasn't just like here's the new beat of the
Facts.
week, here's the new beat of the week, here's the new beat of the week. What he did is he would put up like different just super funny memes like all the time as like part of like his
Mm.
personality, things that were shareable,
Nice.
things that were just relatable. And then he'd be like, it was more of like the memes, and then like it'd be like, and here's a beat, and then like here's
It's
five just
amazing.
super funny catchy memes, and then here's a beat. And then
But that's amazing.
what he did after that is he created a brand, not to take away from you, but to again to get to your point, is like he made shirts that are culturally like relative, but they're based around hip hop. So like he has like I don't know if you've heard of All That, from back in the day, Nickelodeon or
I'm
Friends.
unfamiliar with it, bro. Friends, yeah, I'm
What about
familiar with. Yeah.
So he created a shirt, instead of it saying Friends, it's samples, but it's like the same like font,
Okay.
everything.
Same like
Um,
font. Yeah, yeah.
like Staples. You know, this. I don't know if you guys not to this. You guys
Yeah,
Staples.
yeah, yeah. We have the equivalent of a Staples. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like samples on that. He's got like the
That's smart.
Pornhub
That's
the
smart.
Pornhub logo with boom bap on the front. So it's like all things that are
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
relatable
yeah, yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
people. So it's like if you can put some type of yourself into that and like you said, like make things relatable, like the
Absolutely.
more people are gonna connect with you. Like he's not so much of like a face person, but
Hmm.
it's still him that is being shown, and it's not just here
Yeah.
buy my beats, please. It's why should I buy my beats? Oh,
Exactly.
because dude, like you're
Exactly.
just super funny
Exactly.
person and make me laugh. It's
And
something as
and
simple as that.
and see, he doesn't even exactly, like he doesn't even need to go ask now to go buy his beats because he indirectly did just by being a form of entertainment for these people. He's gonna sell way more beats that way than if you went up and he's like, "Yo, please buy my beat." Like, no one's gonna buy your beat.
Yeah, because they're probably just scrolling, through the memes, and then a beat pops up, and then like, oh, where this beat is? Oh, like where
Exactly. Exactly.
it's that simple.
Genius. Genius.
But people just think like I get. I'm sure you do too. They get all the spam email blasts of
Yeah.
producers. Yo, check out my beats and check out this. Dude, I've never had a single conversation with you ever.
I know.
If you had
I
reached
know.
out and tried to have just a genuine conversation, been like, oh, like I heard your music. I heard that song. I heard that song "Right Mind" that you made back in the day. That song was super dope. It connected me, and I think I have some beats that could really fit that, and
Absolutely.
maybe help boost you up, and something like what I'm saying. Just have like a
Absolutely.
personal conversation
Hmm.
aside from just hey, 5 beats
Fan.
for $45. Hit
Yeah.
the DM me for exclusives. Like that's an instant delete for me. I'm sorry. And any
Yeah.
producer that's watching this is your warning now. This is your if you've ever sent me a beat and you just sent me a beat, it probably got deleted.
Unfortunately, yeah, you need something to stand out to me, to be human, to be, yeah, like for sure, especially now that there's so much to choose from, for sure.
Yeah, because if I'm gonna work with you, like for me at least, the person that I am in working in the industry, working with people is I I I, I try to, not that every relationship lasts forever, but I always try to build on just one thing.
Yeah,
Like I
absolutely.
can I can buy a beat, but then maybe I can connect you to other artists, or you can connect me to other producers, or you can connect me to another artist that has been on your beats, or you know what I'm saying? Like the
Mm,
networking,
absolutely. Yep.
it, it's more of the
Huge.
networking piece. Is probably more what I'm going for, but it's just one of those things. Like I like it to be more than just transactional, as sexual as that
I
sounds.
completely. I
I like
agree
it
with
to
you.
be a little bit more than just a transaction.
Yeah.
Again, this is a business, and music is such, like we stated at the top of this, it's such a universal thing, connects so many different people, and for people that are trying to find their way, why not continue that connection and network? And
Exactly.
who's to say, one of your producer friends doesn't connect me with somebody else, and then we all work on track, and then somebody hears it, and then we all blow up because we all made those connections. Like stuff like that happen, but people are so one track minded into it
Yeah.
just being about themselves that it's like, no, I can't work with you because like I gotta blow up. Like if I help
Because
you, then
people
it takes
got,
away from me.
I know, people got egos. People think there's not enough food at the table, which is all fake. It's all false. It's not true. Uh, Collaboration is literally the hack to grow quicker. It's the hack. And just
It's
to
huge.
have more fun with it, to like, oh, collaboration's amazing, man. Like I've made so many literally friendships from producers, videographers, graphic designers, other artists, like around the world. It's amazing.
Seriously,
But
seriously.
some people, their egos are too big to do that, so whatever, it's their loss at the end of the day, right?
100%. Um, so I've started this new thing. As we start to wind down this super dope conversation, is I try to put people a little bit on the spot, and not in a bad way, but
Go ahead.
I know I always say
I'm
that,
ready
and then
for
I'm
it.
like, oh, they're probably gonna start running. So the question that I have is, what was probably the best piece of advice that you have gotten thus far
In music?
in
I mean, like
general?
music related?
It can be,
In my life.
or just in your life. Like, what would you say would be the best advice that you've gotten so far?
I think one of the cliches that I say the most and that I think have been most impactful to me um, is the saying that goes, things don't happen to you, things always happen for you. Ever since I've been told that and I really processed that, there's nothing that goes by in my life that I don't, I just think there's a bigger purpose. Like, yeah, on face value, it might seem like something that's negative, something that's bad, something that's hurtful. Um, but man, like since then, I feel like it made me such a more optimistic person. And just because today I don't know what lesson or what value this will bring me in the long term, I know that there's something. Whether that's literally a loss of a friend or a family member, or if it's heartbreak, or if it's literally just losing a job, or I really do believe that things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And if you fundamentally believe that, I feel like you're going to be one of the most optimistic people there is, because you just keep on going. You're never going to stop giving up because you know that there's a bigger purpose. Whether that's true or not, it does the same job. Like, it keeps you in that mindset of just keep pushing, keep your head up, always being optimistic. And I think that's the advice that, even translating it to music, that's what's been, again, like, if something doesn't go well in the music, like if one of my song flops, or if one of my radio pitches flops or whatever, like, it just wasn't meant to be. It wasn't my time. I think that's the
Yeah,
best advice that I could give to anyone. I feel like that's the most.
yeah, man. That's yeah.
Oh, we're
That's
frozen here, are we?
I
Oh,
got you.
we're good. We're back. We're
I got
back.
you here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I was like, no, I was just processing it. But yeah, like I definitely agree with you. That's definitely one of the things that I've learned, especially recently. More on the spiritual side of things, but it's still, very
Mm-hmm.
much so the same concept. It's like, when you mention, like, a song flopping, it's like, we have to be our toughest critics, in the sense of looking at that and being like, okay, why did that flop? Okay, this is, looking at, maybe a comparison of, like, we'll say two songs. Like, okay, this song flopped, but this one was really successful. Okay, what was different about them? So, like, basically, like, learning from that, instead of what a lot of people do nowadays, like we talked about,
Crying about it.
is crying about it. Oh, I quit. Forget this. I'm
Yep.
done. I'm out.
Just hanging up the
And then,
jersey.
but like,
Yep.
look, like you said, like,
Exactly.
learn from it, build from it, and figure out, it happened for you for a reason, for you to figure something out to make you better, versus something that
Exactly.
was there to tap
Yeah.
you
Take it
out.
to the next level.
That's all it is, man. It's a learning process, and people forget that.
Facts. Facts.
But yeah, man. Um, things happen for you, not to you. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Keep reminding yourself that, man,
Amen.
and you're good.
For sure. Before we wrap, is there anything that y'all got cooking up that you dare to share? Let people know what's happening, within the compound, and what they can expect from you coming up soon.
Hell yeah. Well, we always have the same strategy since we started. We drop single every fourth Friday to stay consistent. It's basically once a month is what it comes out to. Give or take, it's every fourth week. Um, so again, this Friday coming up, February 11th, we got a track dropping that we're excited for. I think it's one of our better songs. It's one of the catchier songs we've made. I think. It's got a catchy. It's just a fun pop song. I think a lot of people are gonna relate to it just because it's easy to play and it's fun to listen to. We always kind of custom the single that we drop with the seasons, meaning like if it's June, we'll put out a summer song. If it's November, we'll put out a sad song. And usually in February, we put out love songs, like sad love songs for
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
This year, we kind of made it an optimistic twist, though. It's still about girls and it's still about love, but it's not sad this time. This time it's fun, so we're excited to put it out. But yeah, man, singles every fourth Friday. We're just always at it. Consistency is key, man. So we'll be out here forever, every fourth Friday forever.
There you go. There you go. So anybody that's watching this now, anybody that's tuning in later, make sure they tune in every month. New single coming from these guys. Another dope collective. If you don't already, I'm gonna try to get my finger pointed in the right direction. Make sure you follow all of us right down here. It should be popped up right there. Follow Right Mind, myself, J Faith, as well as NSL Collective. Never Stop Laughing. This has been a
Yes, sir.
super dope conversation, man. Appreciate having you on today.
Hey, man. I just want to take a second to say thank you and thank you for what you're doing. I do think there's a very important overlap and intersect between music, mental health, fitness. Everything that you're focused on is everything that I'm focused on. Um, and I thank you for having me conversate. I love a good conversation, and I think our views are in line on a lot of topics. And to anyone listening, man, I don't care if it's two of you or 2,000 of you, 2 million of you. Honestly, it's just um, I just hope that you could find value in this, and just the concept of never stop laughing and the concept of right mind, I think are very similar. It's just about being self aware, and just pushing yourself and staying optimistic. And I pray that anyone who's watching this could just find their passion, man. Find what makes you you, and don't be afraid to share it with the world, man. Don't be afraid. The only person that you're in competition with is yourself. And if people follow, they do, and if they don't, they don't. But they will eventually. I promise you that. So, thank you for having me on, brother. I appreciate it.
Man, I got nothing else to say. I can't follow that. I can't kill that. So I'm not gonna say nothing else.
The
That's a
mic is
mic drop
being
moment.
dropped, man.
Yes, sir. But one last time, I just want to say thank
I got
you.
in my feelings. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Want to thank you one last time. This is Drew from NSL Collective. My name is Jay Faith. This is Right Mind Wednesdays. And until next time, we'll see you then. What's up?
Man, thank you. We're out, man.